Welcome to the Realty Rundown, the podcast that cuts through the noise of the real estate world. Your hosts, seasoned industry experts Nick and Nate, are here to guide you through the entire process. Each week, they're breaking down the latest market trends, decoding complex jargon, and sharing insider secrets you won't find anywhere else. Whether you're buying your first home, selling a property, or building an investment portfolio, we provide the clear, actionable advice you need to make your next move your best move.
All right. Welcome everybody back to the Realty Rundown from the Nic Wyse team. I am, in fact, Nic Wyse. Guys, it's just me flying solo again today. The team has been really busy. I will say they had a monster week and a monster weekend, moving a lot of properties to pending. So I know last episode we kind of talked about some of the struggles in the market. Not to say those aren't still evident, because I think our higher end homes are still struggling to get attention, but we are still moving properties. It's been good in that regard. I will also say, if any of you are investors and you were keeping an eye on the stock market on Friday, you might have had a bad day. I know I did. So hopefully not everybody got hit as bad as I did, because I was in a lot of tech stocks, which had done very well through the year, but then made for a really, really rough Friday going into the weekend. And with a kind of a mixed jobs report out there on the horizon as well, I think it might set up for another interesting week. It could be a tough week, but I will say again, this last weekend, at least measuring from the metrics of our team, real estate's doing all right, doing pretty well. So that is not what today's episode is about. We're going to be covering a topic that we have touched on before, and it is real estate fraud. It is on the rise, rather significantly so. And we're going to talk a little bit about why that is, what types of fraud are going on out there, and then what you can do to protect yourself. So it's, by definition, literally exploding across the country. Was looking at some FBI stats, and criminals stole more than $275 million through real estate fraud in 2025 alone, involving more than 12,000 victims, which is just a huge increase from just a couple of years ago. So like I said, we kind of talked about this about a year ago. Apparently no one listened. So people are still out there. The podcast needs to get out to more people, because then we wouldn't have this fraud problem. But no, the really scary part is most of these victims are people that are actually, they're smart enough. They thought they were doing everything right. They're just unaware. So these are pretty common scams, some of them. We're going to talk about how you can identify them and protect yourselves. So also, why is real estate a target? I think it's pretty evident that in real estate transactions, they involve large amounts of money. I've always said, real estate is like the biggest decision you can make in your life, other than getting married and having kids, because it is your largest investment, and it is your biggest channel to the American dream, because it's hundreds of thousands of dollars that change hands. And well, criminals have figured that out too. So they know most of the information that surrounds a real estate transaction becomes public at some point. So you've got property records, listings, ownership information that gets posted online, social media posts where it's like, look at us, we bought a house, or we're buying a house. They're looking for that kind of stuff. And then even closing dates can sometimes be found online. What the scammers do, again, according to the FBI, they're using more and more AI, artificial intelligence, which is fake emails, voice cloning, which is a big deal right now. They can make it look like you, sound like you. And when I say you, I'm talking about me. They can literally make it sound like the title company reps, look like it comes from a title company reps. So these impersonation techniques are crucial to what their scams do to make themselves look legitimate. And obviously they weren't there 10 years ago. So things are very convincing right now for people that are getting involved in this. And the number one threat continues to be wire fraud. And it works in a couple different ways. But essentially, a buyer's getting ready to close on their home. A few days before closing, they receive what appears to be a very legitimate email from the title company, from the lender, their attorney, or their real estate agent. And the email says something along the lines of, here are your updated wiring instructions. Oh, they updated my wiring instructions. No big deal. I'm going to go ahead and send that wire out. And the problem is that email was never real. It was fraudulently created by a criminal, and then it's going to send that money directly to a criminal. So the FBI has documented cases where buyers wired, this is just one case, more than $449,000 to a fraudulent account before it was discovered. And in that case, fortunately, again, investigators were able to freeze the funds before they disappeared. But most of the time, once a wire's gone, it's gone. So the advice here is just never trust wiring instructions sent by email alone. Before you do that, stop, call the title company directly, call me directly, use a phone number that you already know. Don't go off one that was on the email, and verify every detail verbally before you send any money. What you can also do, and most title companies, well, not most, all title companies will not send you an email with wiring instructions. You either have to physically go into their location and get the wiring instructions, or go through their portal, which is where you have a secure online portal where you can go into their back room, so to speak, and get those wiring instructions. But the important thing to remember is just verify. That one phone call could literally save you your life savings. Another one that I've seen a couple times, we touched on briefly, is vacant land fraud. It's becoming much more and more common. So a criminal pretends to own a piece of land. They contact an agent. This is what happened to me. They want to sell it quickly. They almost don't care what you sell it for. They've got fake identification. They've got documents that they want to sign electronically, of course. They never want to talk on the phone. They want to do everything through email and through eDocs. If nobody catches it, the property can get sold. I mean, the first time it happened to me, I was pretty close because it was so legitimate. But I stopped and I said, hey, I need to have a conversation with these people. I understand they're in Florida, and on title, that was correct. The owners were in Florida. But before I list this 13 acres for a really good price, we need to have a bigger conversation. We're not just going to e-sign documents. So as soon as I started to do that, it all unraveled and it stopped. I was able to contact the owners and get their information, let them know what's happening so they can keep an eye out for it as well. But this is happening nationwide. I've seen it on lake lots, vacant lake lots, and then large acreages of property. So if you own vacant land and you're not actively doing anything with it, just periodically check your property records. Make sure that nobody has listed or transferred your property without your knowledge. I know it stinks that you have to do this. You should just be able to sit back and own your property, but this is the reality of it. So make sure you're just checking into those things. You can set up Google notifications as well. There's a way to go into Google and say, hey, this is the property I own. This is the address of it. If this gets mentioned anywhere online, if it gets posted to Zillow or whatever it may be, notify me. There's a way to do that. If you struggle with that and don't know how to do it, reach out to me. I can help you out. All right, guys. Rental scams are another huge one. And I've seen this a lot too. This is all of these things are happening locally here in North Central Indiana. So it's not like this is in Chicago. But this one hits renters really hard, and it really stinks because they're often folks that are in the process of getting themselves either back on their feet or trying to build up some equity, at some point in the future, and trying to build up savings, I should say, so they can create equity. But here's how this one works. Scammers copy photos from a legitimate listing, typically a vacant home. They advertise the property online, and then they collect application fees, deposits, or even initial rent payments. And the problem being that they never actually own the property. So before you ever send money, verify ownership, meet with someone at the property before you send your money. They're going to make it sound like if you don't do this now, you're not going to get the property. Everybody wants this rental. It's such a good and reasonable rate, right? Because that's what it's all about, is this FOMO, this fear of missing out. We got to send this money. We got to send this money, or we're not going to get this rental for $500 a month for this 4-bedroom. If it sounds good, too good to be true, it probably is, guys. All right. And then just to make you guys hyper aware, AI is making everything harder. This is something that the FBI highlighted over and over again in their report, because AI is now creating those convincing emails more than ever, fake websites, fake social media profiles. And the big one is the deep fake stuff, the cloned voices and the deep fake videos. There's certain things you can do to kind of keep an eye on this. They say, in the past, you could look for bad grammar or weird speech patterns, but AI is getting really good, really fast about not doing that. It's no longer just look for the video and look for the guy that's got 7 fingers on his right hand. It's getting beyond that in a rapid way. So the new rule is simple. It's not just look for little things. It's verify before you trust and before you send any money. And then verify again through a second method: call, text, meet in person. Never rely solely on email or anything that you're seeing online. All right. So just to reiterate real quick, never wire money based solely on email instructions. Verify financial requests by calling a known phone number, not something you got in the email. Be suspicious anytime they're trying to make things urgent. You're going to miss out. This is going to happen. You're going to lose the property. Urgency is a sign of fraud. So, and then protect your own email. Use strong passwords and use 2-factor authentication. That's for you, and it's for the other party on the other end of the line. So they're not hacking into your email and then using it legitimately for fraud. And then just work with trusted professionals, people that know what's going on, and keep in touch with them throughout the transaction. So good real estate agents, lenders, attorneys, title companies, they can help spot these red flags before they become disasters for you. So real estate does remain. It is one of the best ways, maybe the best way to build wealth. But unfortunately, criminals know that too, guys. So good news is we can prevent these. A little bit of awareness, a little healthy dose of skepticism. And if you're buying or selling and investing and you have questions about your real estate transactions, I'm happy to help. reach out to me. Nick knows. I try to know. And guys, I've got your wise replies. So if you have questions, please do reach out and I'm there to help you. Have a great day. Enjoy your week.
And that's a wrap on another episode. Thanks for tuning in. We hope you had as much fun as we did. We love sharing real estate insights, but as you can see, we also love to have a good time. This energy and passion is what we bring to every client. Buying or selling a home is a huge deal, but it doesn't have to be stressful. With the right team, it can even be fun. Ready to make your move? Let's connect.